this Premier League Matchday 7 Picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use the promo code CFBX on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Game Time app. Use promo code CFBX. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play the Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL. Win up to 20x in one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. We're also brought to you by VSIN. Sign up now and save 40% off their football season special when you use the promo code SGP. That's at vsin.com. Subscribe, promo code SGP. And finally, brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Wednesday, the 27th. 8th. Wednesday. What is it, Baz?
Wednesday the 27th.
Wednesday the 27th of September. Oh, that's correct. And we are here a little bit early to have a look at the weekend's games. We go from Saturday lunchtime all the way through to Monday night. Joining me, you've just heard his beautiful voice from Nottinghamshire, is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Hello, Baz.
Even Malcolm, how are we doing?
Yes, thank you. Good. We've gone a bit early this week, Baz. I'm going to the match in a couple of hours, and you felt it was important to get the show out nice and soon for the punters. So we've gone keen this week.
Yeah, we talked about putting it back to Thursday, but trying to keep the routine. So we thought put it out on a Wednesday. It gives plenty of people plenty of time to absorb everything. But obviously worth time stamping the fact that we haven't seen tonight's games, so we've no idea how Man City Newcastle got on, Chelsea Brighton, Arsenal v Brentford. None of that has happened yet. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think you were right, Baz. I don't think looking at it now, I would change many of my picks. I watched Man United Palace last night, and it didn't really change anything.
You've learned nothing from that game, have you? There was lots of changes for both sides, and I see a lot of these games where it's not going to factor hugely into my handicapping for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was making changes. Even, I think was it the Mansfield-Peterborough game. Mansfield made 8 changes. Peterborough made 9 changes. So you're talking League One and League Two teams here. They're changing the entire team. I was just saying to you before we started, looking at the prices for Newcastle Man City tonight, and Newcastle's 17-10. Outsiders of the two. Manchester City are 6-4 favourites. But Pep said in his press conference yesterday that he wasn't going to try 1%, is what he said yesterday, Baz. But you're possibly not believing it.
I don't have it. Nah, Pep wants to win everything that's going. He doesn't throw games. Every year in this tournament, we're expecting in the early rounds he's going to rest players and he's going to go a week, and he doesn't. And I think he will this time. Don't get me wrong. I think it will be a weekend team because we talked the other day about how that Man City squad isn't as deep as it once was. And they have got a lot of injuries, a lot of players struggling at the moment. So there will be a bit of rotation. But to say they're not going to try, whichever 11 he puts out aren't going to try 1%, that's absolute garbage.
Well, I hope he does keep to his word and doesn't try at all. Because it would be good to make it through. I'm heading out in about an hour. I'm going to go and meet my dad, have a couple of beers. Johnny's here. Look, Johnny Junder. Johnny is having Johnny's our Canadian friend, has joined us in the comments. Johnny's having a very stressful week following the Toronto Blue Jays. Johnny, there was a photo of you chatting up a girl in a bar last week on Twitter. And I need to know the full story of that. So you can either type it in the chat now, or you can, if you can DM me the story you and that girl in the bar. But I've been living the MLB season through Johnny's Twitter account. So nice to see you, Johnny. And I think he was trolling Newcastle quite quite a lot recently until our 8-0 win. So, yeah, get on Newcastle beat Man City tonight, John. At the start, Baz, we're going to check in first on the Premier League, the Fantasy League. Yes. Because we haven't checked in probably for 2 weeks now. Not that there's anything for me to check in on, Baz. In the show league, I am 82nd. My kid is 26th. So that's disappointing. So I'm a full, 56 places behind the 11-year-old son. There is one Penaluna in the top 10, the Dazzler. The Dazzler's sitting in 5th. But Cameron Burke sitting at the top. 100-point week, Baz. They're few and far between in FPL. So Cameron Burke, Speed Skleets, top of the table with 101 points, Barry.
He's top of the table with more than 101 points, isn't he?
101 points this week, taking him to 418. He's got a 9-point lead.
Just loading up the league now, because there was a couple of people beat him in terms of the game week score. Let's just bring the league up. So where are we? Yeah, game week score. Ewan McClure, friend of mine actually, got 105. Alistair Hewitt, 103. Cameron Burke and Joe Thompson both got 101. So 4 of them broke the 100-point mark. I thought I'd had a really solid week. Saturday started well for me. I had Estepinian. I had Foden scored. Salah. Haaland started off well. Thought I was doing okay. And then Sunday came. And although I had Botman, got me a goal and a clean sheet, a lot of people had Son, Maddison, Trippier. Some of them had all of them. And if you had all of them, then you were absolutely flying. So highest score of the week last week was Ewan on 105. He had Trippier and Botman got 30 points between them. He had Gordon for 12 points. Salah, Saka, Haaland. He had Watkins and Morris both scored. Absolutely cracking week for him. So yeah, there was some really high scoring.
I can't find you.
What was that? I'm 41.
What position are you? I can't find you.
That's not a thing, is
Sorry?
it? 41.
41.
Yeah, so I'm doing all right. I'm ticking over. Still got my wild card. Not used any of my chips or anything yet. I'm okay with where I am. I've tried to be a little bit different. I didn't want to have the same as everyone else. So I haven't had a Man United player in yet, where most people started with Salah or Rashford. Some people started with both. I didn't have that, and I feel like that's worked out okay. But I've also been a bit stubborn with the Spurs players. Stubborn in terms of keeping Richarlison too long. He has gone now, but stubborn in terms of not getting Maddison, which has been a bit costly. And Son's going to be the next one now. Everyone's going to be wanting to get on to Son. So I tried to be a bit different. I've held on to Eze, hoping he would come good, and he's probably ran out of time for me now. I brought in Soberslide to try and be a bit different. That's not worked out yet. But yeah, I've still got 2 transfers in the bank, so I'll make a couple of changes this weekend, and it might be Chilwell probably out because he seems to be a bit hit and miss as to whether he's going to start from week to week. And who else is going to go? I don't know. It might be Eze, or I might just call time on Soberslide already. But yeah, undecided.
I made my one change already, Baz. And actually, I said to Bob last night, what change do you think I've made? And he nailed it. I don't know if he's been watching stuff on YouTube or whatever. But the player coming in was Anthony Gordon. And it was not just a homer play. He's been Newcastle's best player. He's amongst the goals. He's amongst the assists. He's cheap. And also, Harvey Barnes went down injured for Newcastle. And you put Gordon in, 5.6 mil? It does make some room. If you can take up, because Eze was the other one. Eze is sitting there at the minute at 6.5. So if you get Gordon in there, that makes some room. So yeah, it was quite a. I don't think it's that popular a play either. He won't be in too many teams.
I think he will be.
For the next few weeks.
I think there'll be loads piling on him. This week, by next week, Anthony Gordon's going to be in almost everyone's team. Anyone who's competitive or playing it regularly will move to him because he is too cheap for someone that we now know is going to be starting every week because Barnes isn't fit. And he's had 5 returns already in terms of goals and assists. He's an obvious player. So I think now's a good time. It won't be long before he's priced up at about 6 million and everybody's squad. So might be the time. He was one I looked at. It might be that I get rid of Eze or Soberslide for Gordon because it'll give me a bit of a boost financially to possibly get to Son, who's a bit pricey.
Yeah. I ditched Brian and Buemo on the grounds I was fading Brentford a little bit. Felt like I would back that up by ditching Buemo. So yeah, good luck everyone. Crack on with that. Nomination, Barry, for the tit list.
All right.
Forgot to mention this on Sunday night because it came out to Sunday afternoon's games. Now I don't know if I'm being a little bit harsh. The nomination, Barry, is going to be Bukayo Saka. And what it was, so obviously he scored the first goal with a massive deflection. It's not like he's bust the net from 20 yards or something. And he's gone with the old James Maddison dart playing celebration. So I kind of get it. Yeah, they're kind of mates. They know each other from England. You're playing your rivals. So he's stolen his celebration. I don't think it's brilliant crack. It's not the best crack. It's all right. You know, it's not shit crack, but it's not top class crack either. Then, 5 minutes later, Maddison sends him to the shops down by the corner flag and sets up the equaliser, at which point Saka might think, oh shit, I've just been done here. I might wind my neck in a little bit. Anyway, they get a penalty. Saka scores the penalty, and he does the same celebration again. And I think if you're doubling up on average crack, he must think that crack's really good to have done it again. But having been conned for the second goal, I'd have just wound my neck in. I'd have thought, oh shit, I got away with that last time. I then costed us the equaliser. I might not do it again, but he did it again, Barry. So really, it's the repeat average crack. That's my problem. Where do you stand on that?
I mean, I've seen this debate on Twitter this week. Spurs fans getting fought. In my opinion, we're getting far too chewed up about it because I just thought it wasn't anything really.
It's Twitter though, Baz, isn't it? You can't.
They are good. You know, they are good friends from England and stuff like that. And it might have been something that was just before the game, some sort of banter between them. You just don't know, do you? I remember last year, you know, Callum Wilson and Mikel Antonio do a podcast together, don't they? And they've had this thing where if they celebrate, you know, they'll always go and do something to wind the other one up or whatever. And I don't know if it was anything like that. It didn't bother me. I get your point though about him doing it.
How many times did Wilson do it?
I don't know. I mean,
once is the answer. This is my main issue. My main issue is the second occasion.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough because I think once is okay. It wouldn't have bothered me. And I don't.
It's like if you tell a joke. If I did a joke here and you didn't get it, if you have to explain the joke or explain the line or whatever, then it's clearly not. Do you know what I mean? I mean, so it's up to you, Barry. You've got the cast. It's my suggestion. You've got the cast and rule. We've got 2 empty slots, but if you want to give him a pass, you can give him a pass.
No, I'll give you it on the basis that there are 2 empty slots. I think it would be very difficult to knock someone off the list for this offence. But at the moment, we are still filling the list. So the bar is set lower at this point. It wouldn't have been someone I would nominate, but I'm not going to. I'm going to abstain, which means he goes.
He's going to abstain. All right. Well, he's on. I've written him down now.
So yeah, he's gone. He's gone. He's on. That's fine. As I say, I take your point on board about the second offence. That was a little bit just.
I haven't given away the second goal.
He did get absolutely skinned alive, didn't he?
By that player. I don't know. I'd have just toned it down a little bit.
It's a good one. Never crossed my mind.
Okay. He's made the list. We've got 1 empty slot. So what we're saying is, once the tit list is full and we're looking for a replacement, Saka might be first off. He might not be on there forever, but he can take a place on the end of the bench while we're filling the list up. Okay, 1 slot left then. Maybe, just maybe, we'll fill it up this weekend. We're going to make some picks.
Before we make some picks, I know you'll have some other stuff to do before that anyway. Reviews. Let's get them in early this week. Keep giving the spot. We've had a few more on Spotify. We're pushing towards the 100 review mark on Spotify now. That's the next goal. Got 70 odd, I think. So more reviews on Spotify. It literally takes a second. It's just a 5-star. You don't have to type anything or put any words or anything on Spotify. But the Apple one's good if you can give us a few nice words, because that does get seen by people who pay us. And the other thing, keep following us on all the socials. TikTok still be going live on the Saturday before the games and having a little bit crack on a Saturday. And the other thing is we're growing. We're getting more listeners. We're getting more people subscribing, more people on the YouTube, and getting more feedback. We're getting lots of positive feedback, but also some constructive stuff, which has been really good. This week I've been told we need timestamps on the YouTube. by two individuals. And just to say, really, we will always take it on board. It's important to remember we're only been going less than a year. Neither of us were experts on social media, YouTube, streaming, any of that. So we are learning as we go. And if anyone has got any feedback like that, it's always received well. So yeah, appreciate anyone who has shouted out to us. You know, people have told us, "Oh, improve your thumbnails on YouTube, get timestamps on." There's other things, and we will, we'll take on board everything. So keep doing it because we're trying to get better. But we are learning as we go, so it is much appreciated.
What's your system for the timestamps tonight, Barry? Are you going to write them down on a bit of paper?
No, I'm going to go back and.
Oh yeah, you're not thinking. Surely it's easier to do it now, isn't it?
It could be, Malcolm.
I was just going to guess. I was going to take it over or under how many you forgot at the end of the show. How many out of 10 you had written down? I've
missed the time of the FPL segment. The time for
that's not it. But no one wants to listen to that. It's the 10 games. That's over or under.
It might be an idea. I'll scribble them down. What's the over or under?
Under 7.5. I think you'll do all right, but I think you'll get a bit in the middle. I think you'll waver a bit in the middle. You'll lose a few, like games 6, 7, and 8.
I'd take the under all day long.
A definite under. Brian joined in the chat to get his loyalty points. He's disappeared off, but he popped in to say hi. So we've stamped your card, Brian. And Serial. Good morning, Serial. I've been enjoying Serial calling into Sean and Ryan's show, talking Cowboys. He was flexing on Ryan a couple of weeks ago, but he wasn't so pleased with himself. He was very, what's the words, auspicious in his non-appearance on Sunday night after the Cowboys got beat off Arizona. Captain Insano as well, good evening. How are you? It's probably morning, isn't it, for the old American people, but nice and early. Okay, we'll make some picks, Baz. I'll tell you first about game time. I'm going to timestamp this, Baz, because we have to do that. What's that, 18 minutes? Write that down. Getting tickets. Shouldn't be stressful. Game time. Sorting that out for you. By getting tickets for things like sports, music, comedy and theatre. Killer deals on last-minute tickets. They've got flash deals. You can get the seat view, so you can see exactly where you're going to be. So you can forget planning months in advance. Game time, they've got the deals that you need for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theatre. And the game time guarantee means they'll credit you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section and row for less. So you get the tickets in a matter of seconds, get them sent straight to your wallet. Bish, bash, bosh, you're in business. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, create an account, redeem the code CFBX for $20 off. Download Game Time today, last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And Underdog Fantasy, a great way to play alongside your favourite football team all season long. Win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. From now until October the 4th, Underdog is matching 100% first deposits up to $500. It's $100,000 Sundays continuing on Underdog Fantasy. 2 million in prizes. That's 100k in prizes to 10 people winning 10k this week. So watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash on Underdog's mobile app or website using underdogfantasy.com. And the first deposit is up to $500 using the promo code SGPN. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. Serial asking, Captain Cero mentioned in the Fantasy Football League. Well, for the first time in a couple of weeks, Captain, you just missed it. But yes, you are ahead of me. That's not anything to be proud of, though. I regularly will tell you how terrible I am at this. Right, Baz. Saturday at lunchtime. So we've got no Friday night game again. Saturday at 12:30, which is 7:30 Eastern time. Aston Villa against Brighton. Good-looking game, this, to start the weekend with. The Villa are 13-9 plus 145. The draw's 11-4, and Brighton are 23-14 plus 160, 165 roundabouts. So not much between them on the books. Aston Villa have won the last couple. They had a good win at Chelsea, and I think the clean sheet was important for Villa. Although I say watching Match of the Day, Simmers pointed this out to me. Did they persisted with that mad high line again? That Newcastle absolutely caught them out with. Liverpool caught them out with it as well. And then Chelsea just couldn't finish. But Sterling and Jackson did get in on several occasions. Villa have only played 2 home games so far this season out of their 6. They won 4-0 and 3-1 against Everton and Crystal Palace. In those 2 home games, they've scored 12 goals in the 6 league games so far. Brighton are flying, 1-5, lost 1. They've scored 18 goals so far. Only had 2 games on the road so far. Brighton have scored 7 goals in those 2 away games. And both teams to score has hit in every single one of the Brighton games. It just screams goals, However, it's priced accordingly, like you'd expect. So I was trying to find an angle in, eventually got one. And I'm going to take the first half goals, Baz. Over 1.5 first half goals is 15-13. So plus 115 is a nice price here. This looks like there should be goals regularly, often in this game. Could be a 3-2. It could be a 3-3. Anything could happen. Over 1.5 first half goals, Baz, please.
Yeah, so I found a slightly different angle, but similar sort of idea. I mean, the first thing standing out for me is the Villa home record. They've played 3 at home this season, if you include the Europa League, and they scored 10 goals in their 3 wins at home. So 2 Premier League wins, beat Everton 4-0, Palace 3-1. If you go back further, they've actually won the last 9 Premier League home games in a row, scored 22 goals in those 9 games. And that includes a win over Brighton on the last day of the season last year as well. So they have beaten Brighton here recently. And that took me to the head-to-head record. Villa have won 4 and drawn 1 of the last 5 meetings between these sides. So they seem to have the edge over Brighton in recent seasons. So I was tempted with Villa. I like the Villa side of it. But I have been impressed by Brighton so far. You can't fail to be. And we know goals every week are nailed on in their games. So I've went for a pick that favours Villa, but also covers that goals angle. So I've went for Villa team goals. I've got Villa to score 2 or more at 4-5, so minus 125. Villa have scored 2 or more goals in 8 of their last 10 games in the Premier League. So there's plenty of form for them getting 2 or more. And there's plenty of form for Brighton conceding goals. They concede goals every week. But yeah, the Villa goals worked for me because, it still lands if we end up with a 2-2 or Brighton win 4-2. 4-5, slightly under evens, but I like Villa here. I do, but I'm not strong enough to back them at the price just because Brighton have been in such scintillating form lately.
This game for me is one of those classic examples of you kind of know how to handicap it, or really handicaps itself, but you've got to then make the right pick. Because there's loads of stuff you could have gone. So we're both exactly on the same page here. Would have come down with 2 different picks because, like I say, this could be, unless it's a complete fluke 0-0 or whatever. Well, it's hard to take a side, but you do fancy goals. So where do you go? This could be 0-0 at half time, and I look like a fool, and it still could finish 3-2. So you need that little bit of look about you. And this was a great example of those games that we often talk about, where handicapping it is not just enough. Then you've then got to get the right pick in there as well, Pat.
Yeah.
Next up, 3 o'clock kickoffs. There's loads of these on Saturday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's old school. The first of which is Bournemouth against Arsenal. It's time for my line movement report of the week, Baz, that we've just introduced to the show. So I had a look at these games on Monday afternoon, or maybe it's yesterday. Can't remember. Bournemouth were 5-1, are now 17-4 plus 425. Bournemouth nipped in, Baz. The draw is 7-2. That's shortened up by a quarter of a point. And Arsenal were 11-25 minus 227, and now 1-2 minus 200. And that can only be on the news that I think Saka's possibly going to be missing through injury.
They expect Saka to miss out tonight against Brentford. It was said he should be back by Saturday, but obviously that means there is a slight doubt. Bournemouth come into this one still winless. They've lost games against Brighton, Liverpool and Spurs. Drawn against Chelsea, Brentford, West Ham. And I'm just thinking we haven't quite seen any of the chaos that we were told to expect from Iraola. And Bournemouth have pretty much started the season just like they ended last season. Nothing really to get excited about for them at this point. And it doesn't get any easier here with Arsenal still unbeaten, 4 wins, 2 draws. Arsenal have also won the last 3 meetings between the two sides. We had that thriller last season, didn't we? The 3-2. Bournemouth went 2-0 up. Arsenal come back to win it in the 97th minute with that Reece Nelson goal. The away leg. So Arsenal are away this time. The away leg last season, they won with a bit more ease. They were 2-0 up inside 10 minutes and finished 3-0 winners in that one last year. So my question was, can Arsenal do the same and get a comfortable win here this time? I mean, I've talked a bit this season about how Arsenal's wins have been by a narrow margin. 1-goal wins against Everton, Forest, Palace. They did have a convincing win against PSV in the Champions League recently, and they had that 2-goal win against Man United, albeit that came very late in the game. But I haven't seen anything from Bournemouth yet to suggest they're going to cause any major problems here for Arsenal. I think Arsenal will win, and the pick for me was Arsenal on the Asian handicap. So it's -1 on the Asian handicap at 5-6, -120. I wanted to be a bit bolder with Arsenal and think about possibly a -1.5 or Arsenal to score 3 goals. But you've got to go back 8 games since Arsenal last scored 3 goals away from home. And that put a little bit of a doubt in my mind. So I wasn't bold enough to take them -1.5 or to score 3 or more. But Arsenal -1 on the Asian handicap, 5-6. So that's a push if they win by 1. But I think they will win by 2, but this will keep the 2-0 on my side. Whereas if I'd backed Arsenal team goals, I wouldn't have had that. So the pick for me, Bournemouth v Arsenal, Arsenal -1 Asian handicap at 5-6.
Very similar to that Villa-Brighton game, Baz. We've handicapped it the same and come back with slightly different ways of making your bet. Bournemouth, don't think, lost 3. They've drawn 2 of the home games. They have failed to score twice at home. In the 6 games, 3 unders and 3 overs, so no real patterns there. And Arsenal still haven't hit the heights. They've won 4 and drawn 2, but they scored 11 and conceded 6. They haven't been putting distance between themselves. The odds, I just think, we're a little bit lopsided on the goals market here. All 3 of Bournemouth's home games have gone under 2.5. They had a 1-1 v West Ham, they had a 0-2 v Tottenham, and they had a 0-0 v Chelsea. I think Arsenal win. I think Arsenal win comfortably, Baz. My bet wins for you as well. The under 2.5 is just a huge price. The prices are wrong. It's 6-4, Baz. It's plus 150. I think Arsenal can hold them at arm's length, win the game 2-0. So you cash your money. Serial can have his Arsenal to score in both halves, and I'll cash my under 2.5. So 2-0 up win to Arsenal, and everybody is in the winner's circle, Baz. 3 o'clock. Kick off. If this was in the back garden, I would shut the curtains. It's Everton against Luton. Everton are 4-7, -175. The draw is 14-5, plus 280. And Luton Town are 5-1. Everton won last week. I do not want anything to do with them still at 4-7. That would be insane. If they show me a couple more times that they're doing a bit more, they're playing a bit more football, looking a little bit better, then I'll happily take them. But until then, not interested at all. The obvious difference, I think, or the difference maker for Everton is going to be Calvert-Lewin. He came on and got a goal. They were winning before that. But if he can stay fit, he's going to give them a little chance. Luton I'm not even tempted with Luton at 5-1. Like you normally look, if you see a team go to Everton at 5-1, you'd try and get involved. But Luton just don't look like winning. Don't look like beating anyone. They lost 1-0 last night at Exeter City in the Cup. They didn't make 10 changes, but that just kind of shows you what they're working with. And I thought last week against Wolves in the first half an hour, that was as good as you can expect from Luton. It was horrible to watch. The crowd were up. The pitch was mangy. They were banging balls into the box. They got in behind them loads. Wolves were shit. And Luton still... And then Wolves had a man sent off after half an hour. And Luton still couldn't beat them. It finished 1-1 with an awful, awful penalty decision. So even though they put up a good performance, like I say, I can't see them beating anyone. I'm quite happy to put a little line through Everton scoring 3 goals last week. It's just not going to happen. Neither of these teams are capable of scoring a goal, but we have seen Luton capable of competing and keeping it tight. The under 2.5, this is going to be the most popular pick this week. Under 2.5, it's 4-5, -120. Everton might nick a 1-0. Luton might equalise later on and might finish 1-1, but that's it. Go on, Baz.
I've gone a completely different way to Malcolm here. I mean, first things first, exactly the same as Malcolm. I can't have Everton. Everton at 4-7. Just ridiculous. I don't know. Similar to what I said about Chelsea being a similar price last week. Can't have Everton at that price. They've lost 6 of their last 7 home games, Everton. They've lost all 3 of their home games this season. They've lost by 1-0. I get why they're favourites. Luton are currently seen as them, by most as certainties to go down. And Everton might win it, and probably should win it coming off the back of a good result last week. But 4-7, I can't encourage anyone at that price. So where do you go for a bet? I went in the complete opposite direction of where Malcolm's went. I was a bit torn. I looked at Luton as well, same as you, 5-1. You sort of want to try and make a case for them, but I struggled with that. The home form for Everton all points to low scoring as well. It all goes your way. 3 games so far this season, there's been 3 total goals. But just looking at some of the overall form for Everton more recently, there was the 3-1 last week. As you say, that's possibly a bit of a freak. But then it's only the other week, 2 weeks ago, they played Sheff Utd and played out at 2-2. So 2 examples of games involving Everton where there was plenty of chances at both ends. Everton are actually really high up the charts for chances created this season. Despite the fact they're not scoring many goals, they are creating them. I have talked about how that can be a positive or a negative, depending how you look at it. But I think they've looked slightly better in recent weeks with Beto in place now and Calvert-Lewin coming back. Some glimmers of hope for Everton. I'm just going to book the trend of Everton low-scoring games. As I say, a recent run of 1-0s at Everton in their home games. But I'm going for over 2.5. I just think it evens. It offered better value for me. What price are you getting for your unders, Malcolm?
4-5.
Yeah, I'll take the evens for the overs. So pick for me, Everton v Luton, over 2.5 goals at evens.
Possibly, Baz, the worst pick you've ever made.
Last time you said that, it won, so I'm okay with that.
What was that?
I can't remember.
Can't remember. He's just saying anything. Munaf, I think Munaf's had not much sleep because he's gone berserk in the comments. He's just he's done nothing but troll me for about 3 weeks solid, but I'm sick of him. We move on and make some more picks. I'll tell you first about VSIN. Sign up now and save 40% off football season special using the promo code SGP. That is at VSIN. That's VSIN.com/subscribe, promo code SGP. And the reason you need to go and do this is that Sean and Ryan are in a bit of a contest going head-to-head with other VSIN shows to see who sells the most subscriptions. The winner gets $1,000, a Super Bowl future bet. And Sean and Ryan are going to cut you in on the prize, so get involved. Go to VSIN.com/subscribe. Use the promo code SGP to sign up. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/VSIN to submit your proof of purchase. And if you win, you'll get a vote on what team to use the $1,000 Super Bowl future on. If it hits, you'll get an equal piece of the action. Go to VSIN.com/subscribe. Use the promo code SGP, and then submit that at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/VSIN. Hall of Fame bets as well. Finally, helping you with bigger or better parlays this year on the NFL season. The sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines, helping you research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. The Hall of Fame bets parlay optimizer tool is a beauty. You'll get things like hit rates broken down by leg, expected probabilities for your entire parlay. You can sort players out by hit rate. All of this will stop you betting in the dark. You can join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use the code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Okay. Next up is we carry on 3 o'clock on Saturday. Manchester United against Crystal Palace. Man United are 4-7, -175. The draw is 16-5, +320. Palace are 9-2, +450. We saw this game in the League Cup last night. Manchester United cruised to a 3-0 win. Does that hold any sway for you here, Baz?
No. The first line I've wrote here is we saw this one last night, albeit with some very different looking lineups. So not a game that gives us any pointers for me. I haven't really taken any notice of it. I mean, again, the starting point here is that price for Man United, 4-7. And again, it's not one I'm a fan of. I think they're a bit shorter than they should be, given how they've played so far this season. But it is a hard game to handicap this one, because I just don't know what to make of Palace this season. 6 games, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. 4 of the 6 had less than 3 goals, so leans towards the unders there. The 2 wins came against strugglers, Wolves and Sheff United. So they haven't beaten anyone decent yet. And the defeats, again, come against 2 of the better performing sides, Villa and Arsenal. So I'm just really not sure where I sit with Palace. And I think Man United should win this, and they should win it because of their home record. They eventually lost one the other week at Old Trafford. They lost 3-1 to Brighton. That was their first home defeat in over a year. Real Sociedad were the last team to beat them at Old Trafford before that one. And if you were looking at the Premier League, they hadn't lost at Old Trafford since August last year when Brighton last beat them. So over 12 months in the Premier League, they went without a defeat. Brighton have turned that round. But you can't overlook the fact that the home form is really, really solid. I just can't find any reason here to take a punt on Palace. They don't win many on the road. They've just 4 away wins last season, and they've got the 1 against Sheff United so far this season. It's another Asian handicap pick for me, very similar to how I've went for Arsenal. I think Man United will win, but it's another one where I'm just not massively confident about them going and winning 2-0, 3-0, all of this. So I took them on the Asian handicap. Man United -1 on the Asian handicaps at evens. So again, I need Man United to win by 2 or more to cash that one. It's a push if we get a 1-goal win. I think Man United will win, and I think it's quite a safe play, but I just wasn't confident enough in Man United to go any bolder than that. But at even money, +100, I'm happy with that. So yeah, pick for me, Man United v Palace, Man U, Asian handicap, -1, evens.
Yeah, similar, Baz. I think Man United will win. It was then just trying to find something that was appropriate. I've done something that makes me feel really dirty, Baz, which I'll tell you about in a minute. About the game, I want about this bet, nothing under the desk or anything. Yeah, Man United are hard to trust. They won at Burnley last week, but they weren't very good when they were Diddy. Palace disappointed last week at home to Fulham. Palace are just being the most Palace ever. 1-2, drawn 2, lost 2. Sitting in 10th. That tells you everything. They're always in 10th. They'll never move from 10th. They'll win 1, draw 1, and lose 1. They're just rolling up the same old boring lineup every night. Again, it was Ayew, that big lummox Mateta up top. Eze is the only one who could make a difference. He was benched last night, so he might be able to come in. Man United aren't scoring tons either. They've only scored 7 in 6. I initially, Baz, took the under 2.5 at 11-10. However, I still think, man, they don't really look like keeping many clean sheets, which is weird because they've just kept 2 in a row. However, they didn't deserve a clean sheet against Burnley, and Palace didn't try last night. They'll try a bit more at the weekend, and they'll have Eze playing. You desperately need Elise back. I've copped out here, Baz, and I've took the bet that I hate taking because people just take it as a cop out. However, but what people do with this bet is, I think I'm justifying this to myself more than anybody else. If people are just guessing, they want to take a team to win, but the odds are too short. They throw this shit on the end just to boost it up. But I don't think there's any goals in this game, Baz. It's just that extra one. So my pick is Manchester United to win in under 4 goals. Now, so I won't give that out very often, Baz, because I think it's a cheat. But what the 3 scorelines this is going to finish is 1-0, 2-0, or 2-1. They're your 3 options. But the 2-1 buggers me up if Palace can join in. The 2-1 is a worry. So that is the reason that I'll very occasionally, and it is the legitimate reason, throughout that bet. I won't just throw out, I think Man City will win, so I'll throw in Man City in under 8, bloody -300 or something. So yeah, that's legit. Move on to the 3 o'clocks. still, at the 3 o'clock. Newcastle United take on Burnley. Newcastle are 1-3 minus 300. The draw is 4-1, and Burnley are 9-1. Obviously, a lot of this is apropos of Newcastle taking on Manchester City tonight in the League Cup. But yeah, Newcastle have had a good week, or a good 10 days, a good week and a half, really. They got three clean sheets. The clean sheet in Milan in the Champions League. They had the 1-0 against Brentford, and then obviously humped Sheffield United at the weekend 8-0. That 8-0 is ridiculously hard to assess. Just because Sheffield United was so bad, we hadn't seen that at all. It isn't 2 pick serial, it's 1 pick. There's only 2 outright. What defines 2 picks is that there's 2 outcomes. How many outcomes is there in my pick? 1. I'm either winning or I'm losing. No one's pushing. There's no pushing going on. Fucking hell, I'm getting pelters here in the comments. What are we talking about Newcastle? Yeah. So, yeah, Sheffield United never looked like throwing that performance in. This was a team that were 1-0 up at Tottenham through 100 minutes. They were 1-1 against Manchester City through 85 minutes. And then we went and beat them 8-0, and they were absolutely terrible. They were miles away. So, yeah, it's hard to assess that Newcastle. We did say that Newcastle didn't look like battering any teams. Now, we've played 6 games this season. We've had a 5-1 and an 8-0. So if you want to keep throwing in Newcastle ladders, then I wouldn't put you off, because it is something that this Newcastle team seemed capable of. They did it a load of times last season. So, yeah, that's definitely an option. Burnley played okay again against Man United. But still, they're stuck on 1 point, however. They've only scored 4 goals. Only played 1 away game so far due to that Luton Town silliness. So they've only played 1 away game, which was at Forest. They got a point. 1-3 on Newcastle is very, very short. We've got a tough game tonight. They're knackered. I'm going to take Burnley to keep it close, which might seem mad on the back of a game where you've won 8-0. Newcastle beat Brentford at home 1-0 in the last game, the last home league game. And it could be the same again. Yeah, maybe a 2-1 win. Burnley plus 1.5 on the Asian handicap is even money bet.
Yeah, I mean, this was probably the hardest one on a slate for me. I didn't really know where to start with it, because I do feel like Newcastle have turned the corner, and there's definitely a clear swing in the fixtures now. We had a tough start in terms of the games we had, but then we've come through Brentford, Sheff United, and now we've got 3 or 4 sort of winnable fixtures coming up now. Like you, I don't want to get too carried away with last week, because it was a freak result. We played well, but Sheff United just gave up. Sheff United absolutely packed in that one. So will it be another free-flowing display like last week, or will it be a bit more like the Brentford game where we really didn't play great but ground out the result? I'd take either. 3 points will do me, however we get them. But I still think there's some positive signs in recent games for Burnley. I said last week I still think Burnley will be okay. I do worry a little bit about where the goals are coming from for them. I do seem to lack that sort of clinical front man who's going to get them 12, 15 goals a season, which might help keep them up. But it might come. As I say, they have had a tough run as well. But where do you go for the bet? Because as you say, Newcastle at 1-3 just makes things tricky. Goals are priced very short as well. Over 2.5 is 8-15 or something. But I have gone for goals, but I've gone towards first half goals. And it's really because I really struggled to find anything that I was massively strongly drawn to in this game. I'm playing on the assumption Newcastle will be buoyed by that big win last week. Hopefully buoyed by another big win tonight against Man City. See how that one goes. But yeah, this is one where I've really had to force a pick and find something at a decent price. Over 1.5 first half goals, 6-4 Newcastle v Burnley. So that's the pick for me. I think Burnley could get a goal here. I think it could be closer than people might expect. But yeah, the pick Newcastle Burnley over 1.5 first half goals, 6-4 plus 150.
Okay, we carry on at 3 o'clock with West Ham against Sheffield United. West Ham are 1-2 minus 200. The draw is Burlington Birdie 100-30 plus 333. Sheffield United 11-2 plus 550, Baz.
Where are we? West Ham, Sheffield United.
West Ham, Sheffield United, yeah.
You know what?
Just said it.
You know what's happened there, don't you?
Have you forgot to write the timestamp down?
Didn't timestamp that one.
Is that your first one?
I was doing well as well. I've got it.
I told you.
10 seconds.
The middle part of the show, mate, is when it was going to go wrong.
Up to that point, you rushed into this one. Right, West Ham odds-on favourites. And I've got here, these are probably an odds-on favourite that I don't mind this week. I want 2 West Ham, minus 200. And I look at it thinking, would you rather have West Ham on your accumulator at 1-2 or Everton to beat Luton at a similar price?
Yeah.
I'd definitely be more in line with West Ham. So there are sometimes favourites where I think, yeah, I don't mind that. And a 1-2 West Ham would be in accumulators for me this week. West Ham, got off to a flyer, 10 points from the first 4 games before back-to-back 3-1 defeats to Liverpool and Man City. They've scored in all 6 of their games. They've also conceded in all 6 of their games. You know what that means, Malcolm, don't you? Both teams to score in all 6 games. The last 5 have all gone over 2.5 goals. Astonishingly, Malcolm, they've had 4 3-1 scorelines so far this season in the Premier League. And if you include their 3-1 win over TSC in the Europa League, that's 5 out of 7 games this season for them have finished 3-1 in one way or another. Sheffield United, just a single point to the name, no clean sheets for Sheffield United. They absolutely capitulated last week against Newcastle. I like West Ham here. I think the home form is good. I'm going to take West Ham to win on the handicap, and this is one where I am happy to take it by a full 2 goals. So West Ham minus 1.5 at 5-4. And given that recent form for the scoreline of 3-1 in West Ham games, I'm going to have a bit of West Ham to win 3-1 at 12-1.
Love that, Baz. I didn't know that. I mean, I've got the goals angle was my handicap as well. Over 2.5 times 5. Both teams to score times 6 for West Ham. Sheffield United will need to respond. Like I say, that performance just came out of nowhere, though. They've played 2 away games. They have scored in both. So I just voted with my feet here to carry on. I looked at the over 2.5. I looked at the both teams to score trend, and the both teams to score was a bigger price. So 4-5 is minus 120. There is a lovely angle in here. And I saw this before the Newcastle game last week. It said that Sheffield United can't defend set pieces. So if you want to, it was with reference to FPL. It was get Newcastle players in. It was get Trippier in, Botman, Burn, set pieces. What happened last week was Trippier picked up 3 assists, Burn scored, Botman scored, your 2 centre-backs scored. So you can obviously apply that to having a little bet, because West Ham aren't bad from a set piece. They've got James Ward-Prowse in the team, who takes the best set piece in the league, probably. James Ward-Prowse assists, Baz. Over half an assist? Well, go on. I'll guess a price.
2-1.
5-2, not bad. You're a shrewd man. So, yeah, plus 250 for over half an assist for James Ward-Prowse. And then I just looked at the 3 centre-backs. So have a look at the team news. Kurt Zuma is 20-1, 13-2 anytime. Aged is 22-1, 8-1 anytime. And Ogbonna, I'm not sure he'll start, 33-1, 12-1 anytime. So when one of those crashes a header in that game from a James Ward-Prowse corner, Baz, we can all get in the queue.
So your main pick here is Ward-Prowse assist, is that right?
No, both teams to score, Baz, 4-5.
Both teams to score. So you've got 5 picks. Yeah, is that right?
1, 2, no, 7 because I've got the anytime picks for those 3 players, Baz.
Yeah.
8 picks, sorry. Yeah, 6-player pick.
I must have switched off halfway through. Both to score, Ward-Prowse assist. And
then Ogbonna, Zuma and Aguerd all to score first and at any time, yeah.
Oh, and any time, yeah. Get it. Oh, that's fun. I love that James Ward-Prowse pick, though.
Yes.
5-2 looked an absolute great price. I would get on that now. Absolutely love it.
The final 3 o'clock, Wolves take on Manchester City. Wolves are 7-1. The draw is 9-2. Man City are 1-3, minus 300. Wolves were terrible last week against Luton. I can't keep saying it. I thought they were awful. They had done okay before that in spells. They had a poor result against Ipswich Town last night. We talked about Gary O'Neill on the AFL Cup show. Wolves Ipswich is one of the games we went for. I took the over 1.5 goals. Over 2.5 goals, cashed it inside 25 minutes. Gary O'Neill really wanted to win. They went 2-0 up after 20 minutes, were flying, and then managed to get beat 3-2 off a very good Ipswich team. So it's hard to know what Wolves are up to at the moment. Manchester City are absolutely rolling, 6 from 6. The Emerson Rodri, who's probably been their most important player actually for a long time. I was surprised at how big a price City are here. You said before about West Ham and Everton being the same price. Newcastle and Man City are the same price. And I would definitely want Manchester City. 4 of their 6 wins have been by over 1.5 goals. Serial's just put it up in the chat. Completely agree. Manchester City minus 1.5. It's 10-11 bars, minus 110. I mean, every week, they play this game every week and Man City will beat them 3 or 4-0, 3 or 4-1 every single week. No problem. Good bet.
Yeah, like it. I mean, I took Wolves last night in the EFL Cup. I thought they'd beat Ipswich. I got very fortunate because Bet365.
Did you get paid
up? 2-0 up, early payout. So I was paid out very early in the first half and it didn't bother me. But obviously, can't claim that as a winning pick for the podcast because it lost to anyone that didn't Bet365. Say this every week, Malcolm, don't we? It's one of the best offers around if you're betting on the football. If you can bet with Bet365, because they're competitive in their odds anyway. Those 2-0 ups have saved us a few times. I mean, that Forest game, you think Forest were a massive price against Man United. 2-0 up would be 3-2. If you backed them a Bet365, you got paid out. Yeah, things are looking bleak for Wolves. Just the 1 win versus Everton, 4 defeats, and then a draw v Luton last week. And as we say, they blew it last night late on. There's not much to say. I don't need to go into it much more than you already have. 6 wins from 6 for City. 3 of those games were away from home, and they scored 2 against Sheff Utd, 3 past Burnley, 3 past West Ham. And Wolves have conceded 3 or more 4 times already this season, including 3 of the last 4 games. Ipswich, Liverpool, Palace all managed to put 3 goals past Wolves. So the pick for me, along the same sort of lines and expecting a similar sort of scoreline, is Man City to score 3 or more at 11-10. So plus 110. I'm getting plus money. I'm getting 11-10, slightly bigger odds than you, but I'm taking out the 2-0 out of the equation. So give me Man City to score 3 or more goals against Wolves at 11-10.
Tea time on Saturday is a really good-looking game. Tottenham Hotspur take on Liverpool. Spurs are 15-8 plus 187. The draw is 3-1. Liverpool are the jollies here, 15-13 plus 115. Baz, good game this.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Game of the week, you'd probably have to say, looking at the fixtures. I look forward to it because one of them has to drop points, which is always a bonus, as they should be. Teams competing at the top end of the table. Spurs have still scored 2 or more in every game. Liverpool have yet to concede 2 or more in any game. So something's got to give between the 2 of them. So Liverpool have only got 1 clean sheet, though. So they've conceded in 5 of the 6 games, and every single one of them has come in the first half. So I'm going exactly, no big analysis on this one, exactly where I went last week on the Liverpool game, and that was West Ham to score in the first half, because every goal they've conceded this season has come in the first half, and only 1 game this season they haven't conceded in the first half. If you look at the include the European game, they conceded first there as well in the first half. So 6 of 7 games this season they have conceded in the first half. I think they're yet to concede a second half goal. So Spurs to score in the first half is 5-6, minus 120. It's a decent price for me. Spurs are scoring well, as we know. They've scored at least 2 in every game. They've scored in the first half 4 times already this season out of 6. And as I say, the Liverpool side of the bet, we're seeing them conceding in the first half just about every week. So quite a straightforward one for me. As I say, it landed for me last week with West Ham. So Spurs v Liverpool, Spurs to score in the first half at 5-6.
Yeah, Tottenham were delighted with that draw at Arsenal last week and have now won 4 and drawn 2. Liverpool beat West Ham, but they were wide open again. conceding plenty chances and just relying on having world-class strikers to get them out with the shit. I'm not sure how sustainable that is. I think the prices are a bit wrong here. I've only got 4 picks written down for this one, Baz. I had to narrow it down. There was loads of stuff I loved here, and they're all a lot of the things that you threw out. I think Tottenham are very live. I think they're far too big, in fact, at 15-8 plus 187. But I do think something to do with goals is safer. First half goals is over 1.5 is even money. Both teams to score in the first half is 9-4 plus 225. However, the official play, Baz, is the Tottenham team total. I think what have they scored? 2-2, 2-2, 2 and 5 in the 6 games. Liverpool can't defend. Tottenham to score over 1.5 goals is 5-6. So again, we're all dancing around the same thing here, but we've picked 2 different ways of skinning the same cat. I'll take the Tottenham team total 5-6 minus 120.
Yeah, so as I say, I think I said at the beginning there, Liverpool haven't conceded 2 yet, so something's got to give in those 2 stats. But if I had to pick one way or the other, I think I would go with the Spurs getting the 2 goals rather than Liverpool not conceding 2 again. So I don't mind that pick at all.
Move across to Sunday. There's only one game on Sunday. The 2 o'clock kickoff, which is a 9 a.m. Eastern not first pitch kickoff between Nottingham Forest and Brentford. Forest are 7-4 plus 175. The draw is 21-10 plus 210. Brentford are 17-10 plus 170. Could you get a more mid-table game than this, Baz? It's 12th versus 13th. Both teams have 9 points each. Forest have been disappointing at home. They squeaked past Sheffield United with a late Chris Wood goal 2-1. They made hard work of a 1-1 draw against Burnley. Brentford were not hugely impressed with, but they do remain hard to beat. Obviously threw in a bit of a shocker last week. This just, Baz, looks like the most obvious draw. I didn't have to handicap this for more than like 45 seconds. It just looks like a draw. The draw is 17-10. And very obviously, Baz, also looks like...
It's Malcolm's 1-1-3. Both teams scored a goal.
It's a 1-1 draw of the week, Baz. Do you like the funky keyboards or organ that's been put onto the thing?
Now we've got a great upgrade on the jingle there. Good effort from Pat.
Yeah, Pat has been on his Bontempi organ and throwing a bit of background on there. So yeah, it's the incredibly obvious 1-1 of the week, Baz. 11-2 plus 550 for the 1-1. But we'll take the draw 21-10, Baz.
Yeah, it's a shame you've wasted the 1-1 of the week on this game, Malcolm. Because
is there another one coming up?
No, I haven't got a 1-1 of the week, but I just haven't got this down as a draw. For me, I thought Forest are a good price here for a home team. I mean, we've talked a bit about how out of sorts Brentford are at the moment. As you say, they are hard to beat. And they don't win many, so I can see why a draw does appeal. I just don't think Brentford have, they've only won 1 game and they haven't had a particularly difficult set of fixtures to start the season. Whereas Forest, on the other hand, have had a very tricky start. They've had to go away to Chelsea, Man City, Man United and Arsenal, and they've lost 3 of those games. But they've had some of the worst fixtures out of the way early, so the rest of the season clears up for them a bit. They're unbeaten in the last 5 home games across this season and last 4 wins and 1 draw. And I think the fixtures open up for them a bit now, Forest. They're sitting on 7 points. I think they'll be very happy with that, given the fixture run they had to open the season. Brentford this week, Palace and Luton in the next 3 games. I think Forest will do okay. I think Forest have been the better side so far this season out of the 2. I've been more impressed in the couple of games where Forest have picked up points than I have in any game watching Brentford. They've made some good moves in the transfer market. I mean, they made a lot of moves in the transfer market, but they are continuing to evolve into a solid Premier League outfit for me, Forest. And I just think they're a good price at home here, 7-4. The pick for me, Forest v Brentford, is Forest to beat Brentford at 7-4 plus 175. It's just a price that was a bit bigger than I expected. I thought Forest might be closer to 5-4 plus 125, something like that. And it just went far enough for me to think I'll take Forest on the money line. So that's where I've gone with this. But I can. Am I going to be massively surprised?
The two home games against Burnley and Sheffield United. Obviously, one did finish 1-1, and the other one should have done. They got lucky. They've just really struggled to put both to bed. So that was my thinking there. Final game is Monday evening. There was a game on Tuesday, but we'll do that one on Sunday night, Baz. Is Fulham against Chelsea. Fulham are 5-2 plus 250. The draw is 5-2 plus 250. And Chelsea are a shade over even money. They're plus 105. 21-20. Monday night, Fulham v Chelsea, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, this is hardly a classic, is it? Given the form of the two sides lately. Very difficult to make a case for either of these sides to beat the other. Not impressed with either of them so far. And I'm just going to take this one to be a stinker. Fulham's last 2 games have seen a 0-0 and a 1-0. Chelsea have failed to score in their last 3 games, 0-0 and 2 1-0 defeats. Between them, they've played 12 games this season and they've scored just 10 goals between the two sides. So they've got 5 each goals. I've just kept this really simple. Under 2.5 goals at 10-11. I just feel you've got to get a run for your money out of that. I just can't see it being a goal fest. One team might win it 1-0 or we might get a 1-1 or a 0. It could just be anything, but I think unders at 10-11 is very fair. So yeah, Fulham v Chelsea, under 2.5, 10-11, minus 110.
Okay, Baz, I've got a little pop quiz here that might help you reach a bit. Can you name a football team that aren't very good at scoring goals?
Chelsea.
Yes, Barry. There's a second part of the question. Name another football team that aren't very good at scoring goals.
Luton.
The answer was Fulham, Baz, as it happens.
Yeah, you're right.
But you can see where we're going with this. There's no one can score. They've got no strikers. The answer is obvious. It's under 2.5 goals at 9-10, Baz. You are already there. Minus 111. And I think, Baz, that's all 10 games in the hutch. Goal scorers, parlays, underdogs. Do you want to lead us off?
Yeah, I'll start with my underdog. My underdog's going to be Spurs to beat Liverpool 15-8. It was a pick I was tempted with when I got to that one, but I felt like I wanted to go the goals route because a high-scoring game could be in store. But I think 15-8 for Spurs at home is a tidy price, so that's my underdog pick. Spurs to beat Liverpool 15-8. For the goal scorer, I've gone for Phil Foden at 9-4 to score any time. He's playing regular now. He's got off the mark last week for the first time, and I think City will get a few goals this week. So I like Foden at 9-4 as an anytime scorer plus 225. And a treble for me is a team total. Treble, I've gone for Spurs to score 2 or more, West Ham to score 2 or more, and Man City to score 3 or more. Comes in just short of 5-1 for that treble. So team totals treble, Spurs, West Ham to score 2 or more, and City to score 3 or more at 5-1. Okay,
like that, Baz. My dog, Baz. My dog is your dog. It's Tottenham at plus 187. Just jumps off the page really when you're having a little look around. So double dog this week. Spurs at 15-8. Do you know what I've got for a parlay, Baz? I'm not picking one. I refuse to pick one. It's a waste of everybody's time, let alone my time. It's a waste of ink. It's a waste of paper. It's a waste of brain cells. I'm not doing it. I've retired, Baz. And I tell you what, I'm a better man for it. I've had more time to, spend with the family and stuff this week. I'm out on the parlays. I've probably wasted more time explaining why I'm out on the parlays than I would have done picking the parlay. So that time's gone away. But I'm not doing it. Bollocks to you. Anytime goal scorer, Baz. 20-1, Kurt Zuma, crashing header. Oh, get in the queue. 13-2 anytime, plus 650. 20-1 to score first, and then go home and boot his cat right up the arse in celebration. And all the money's just won everyone. That is the pick, Baz. What do you think of all of that?
I just don't think you can be bottling out of picking a parlay.
I'm not bottling out. I'm just not doing it. You can't make me. What are you going to do? How can you make me do it?
Your parlay provides a service to the people.
It doesn't, because
every week
it doesn't. You then have to choose which one of the legs is going to let you down. That's no help.
But you've narrowed it down. I mean, generally all three of them in your parlays go down. So, you know, no, that's a cop-out. I don't like it. I remember once you made me, you tried to make me pick every Champions League game or something. I've never failed to make a pick on a Premier League game, and I've never failed to put a parlay out for the people every week. That's a letdown. Well, absolutely let the team down there.
I'm not doing it. You can sit there all you want. I'm not doing it. I'm quite tired. I'll put me. Watch it. This is me getting clicked off. Click, gone, pen down, done, out.
Is this forever? You're not getting back in it?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, how about you just start trying to find some winners? This is what the show's about. You can't just say I can't pick winners, so I'm not going to do it anymore. You might as well get a new host in.
What do you mean? I've just made. You had to go. I made 8 picks on the West Ham game.
You've just made 10 picks on 10 games, and you can't find the 3 best ones. Unbelievable. You need to go away and think about this. I'm not having it next week.
All right. Well, we'll discuss it. We'll have a production meeting. We'll see. What I might do, Baz, can I replace it with something else?
Yes.
Right, okay. Not now, obviously, because I'm on the spot. But yeah, you can have your parlay and I'll have something. We'll find something I'm good at. Take a little while. I might need a team of experts to troll through the records. Tell you what I'm going to do, Baz. I'm going to meet my dad in the pub in 50 minutes. So I need to go. I'm going to eat a pie. I'm going to get on the bus. That's what's going on here.
Enjoy the game, Malcolm. Let's hope for a good one.
Yeah, a little cheeky winner, and then home to Sutton United in the next round of the draw. That'll do me. I don't even know if they went through, did they? It went to penalties. I think Port Vale beat them. Anyway, thanks, Baz. That was fun. Thanks. There was more people in the chat than I thought there would be because we went at a funny time of day. Captain Insano, Serial, Moonaf, Bayou Funk dropped in. Brian got his loyalty card stamped. Who was first in at the top of the show? Johnny Cayman went as well. And Moonaf having a good troll as per. So thanks, everyone. Good luck with your bets. Like Baz said, like, rate, review, but particularly review. Do that. The bosses love it. We'll be back on Sunday night to talk about all of our winners. Until then, we will see you down the road. Cheers.